One of Broadway's most celebrated plays in the past decade, Slave Play, takes a look at what happens when three interracial couples go on what's supposed to be a therapeutic retreat, which happens to take place on land that was a former plantation in the American South. The play got rave reviews and several Tony nominations and is here in our city for a run at the Canadian Stage Berkeley Street Theatre. It kicked off October 1st, runs until October 26th. So joining us live now in the studio are some of the show's stars, Gord and Sophia Walker. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
This is so exciting to have the Canadian version of this play that's been really getting seriously good reviews, but also it's a bit controversial.
Yes.
Sophia, maybe you can talk about the kind of, we just gave a bit of the premise of the play, but why it's stirring up these feelings of tension, perhaps.
I think because, you know, when you're talking about intimacy and relationships and dysfunction, breakdowns in relationships, it's always going to be charged with emotion and opinions. And, you know, it's also got the extra layer of it being interracial relationships and sort of looking at the dynamics of that. It's always going to hold some uncomfortable feelings.
And Gord, why did you want to be part of this play?
I read the script some time ago. I'd heard about it, and I'm attracted to plays that push buttons, and this play pushes a lot of buttons. It's also I find it very funny, and quite well. It's uncomfortable. So I think will make for an exciting evening in the theater.
Yeah,
that's why I was
but sometimes
excited to do
it's those uncomfortable things, those uncomfortable truths that force us to really look at ourselves. And I'm sure when people watch this play, they'll see those reflections, regardless of how uncomfortable it might be. Sophia, give us a breakdown of, you play a couple, there's two other couples. Who is your character and what's that dynamic like with Gord?
Kanisha she's a writer, and she grew up in Virginia, and they now live in New York. We met in New York, and, you know, she's a deep thinker, you know, and there's just stuff that she's been reflecting on as she's gotten older, and their relationship has gotten, it's a full, you know, it's been about 9-10 years of being together that, you know, there's a turning point as we get older in relationships where you start to question, you ask stuff about yourself, about your relationship, there's a lot of reflecting, so yeah.
And Gord, what's the reception been like? I know that you've had some previews. It kicked off October 1st. What are you gauging from the audience each night you're up on stage?
Well, it's very different every night.
Okay.
So someone described the audience as being kind of like the ninth character in the play, and I think that's an apt description because their reaction is different all the time, but they also influence how each other react because there's inappropriate humor, very uncomfortable moments. So it depends on how they're receiving that. But the reception has been, I would say, overall extremely positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're really excited.
Okay. And has your family come to watch, your friends?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. I wanted to get really seasoned into it and really feel empowered doing what we're doing because, again, it is something that's charged with a lot of energy. It is something that people will feel a lot of emotions, but it is something that if you can come in with an open mind and just let it wash over you, it can be such an empowering time in the theater.
Yeah,
and so it's something that I feel like I have to prep my parents for because they enjoy a musical. They enjoy the light and fun. this is going to ask them to be a little bit more open. So I just, like, my siblings will come and see it, and then eventually I think I'll have them come and see it.
Yeah, don't go in expecting to watch like Wicked or Juliet. This is not that type of play.
It's not quite that.
No.
It'll make you laugh.
It will.
But it is definitely asking for a bit more than.
All right. And even just looking at both of you here today, I get the sense that you're like already this long-term couple. How has that kind of evolved? I mean, to do a play of this magnitude with the topics, it must require so much trust and vulnerability between not just yourselves but the other actors. Is that true, Gord?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. The environment the environment in the rehearsal hall was extremely supportive and very interesting. I mean, there's a lot of different perspectives talking about the same material in different ways. So I certainly learned a lot, and I really enjoy. And also, I mean, Sophia is, I think, one of the best actors in the country.
Yeah.
So it's a real pleasure to work with her. And Kanisha is very easy to fall in love with. So, you know, it's a wonderful time.
Kanisha, and what's your name in the play?
Jim.
Jim and Kanisha.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. Gord Rand and Sophia Walker, thanks so much for joining us. You both have so many credits to your names. We didn't get to, list off all the impressive things, but I'm sure people will be blown away when they watch Slave Play. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.